What is the upskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXGamerCast. We're on episode 120 of my gaming show, where once a week I just has to talk about video games, whether they're new video games that I'm playing today, old video games that I grew up with. It doesn't matter. Video games. But today, it especially matters because we're talking about one of my all-time favorite video games of all time. You could probably read the title. It's Mass Effect 2, which I cannot believe is damn near 15 years old now. This game came out in 2010, which is, damn, dude, what a year that was. What a year that was for Mass Effect. And, you know, it being November, I know N7 Day has passed. I think that's November 7th, I believe, when all the shit in Mass Effect goes down. And anyway, I got the itch for Mass Effect. Mass Effect 2 is probably one of my most replayed games of all time, and it's going to fall right into the theme of this month, which is Nostalgia November, and I get immensely nostalgic when I think about Mass Effect 2. Oh my goodness. This is around the time for me where I was like, yo, video games are just insane right now. Like, we are getting incredible stories and character development on a level that I had never experienced until I experienced Mass Effect 2, and it is still up there, man. It is still one of the best games for me personally, so we'll be discussing a lot about Mass Effect 2, but before we get into that Mass Effect 2 talk, let's talk about what I've been up to over the last week or whatever amount of time, and I always encourage you, the viewer, the listener, let me know what y'all have been up to. What movies are you watching right now? What TV shows are you binge watching? Did you go out and, you may not be hearing this on Black Friday, but did you go out there and buy some video games? I'll let you know what I picked up in a moment. But let me know, did you go out and buy some video games? And what games are you playing right now? There's a million games to play. Let me know what you're playing right now. All right, let's talk about the Black Friday pickups that I got this year. So I usually try to focus on Nintendo Switch games because they rarely ever go on sale. So that's usually my number one target, is to try and track down the sales on Switch games and the games that I want. And I got two this year. I picked up Pikmin 4, which I'm very excited to play. I played Pikmin 3, which was the first Pikmin game I've ever played. Played that last year. It was freaking awesome. And now I want to play all the Pikmin games. Sadly, Pikmin 1 and 2 was not on sale this year, so I'll wait on that one. But I got Pikmin 4. And what the hell else did I buy? Oh, yes, of course. The Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I picked up that one. I heard great things about that Kirby game. I've never really been a big Kirby guy. I like Kirby. I just haven't played a lot of Kirby games in my time. I watched the TV show back in the day on Fox. Man, that show was dope. So I picked up that one. That should be fun. And I picked up a PlayStation 5 game. I couldn't wait no more. And it was the lowest price I've ever seen it, and that is God of War Ragnarok. Finally picked that game up, since PlayStation will never seem to release it on their service. Watch, they're going to release it now that I purchased it. That's a guarantee. But I bought it. It was $40 for the PS5 version. I could not say no, so I bought it. Now I got myself a physical copy of God of War, which is fine. I'm happy with that. You know, I get nervous sometimes when I buy my digital games, because I'm like, what if something happens? What if they one day just disappear? At least when you have a physical, you know, I have that disc, I own the game, it's mine. So I'm still like trying to collect physical, but if I just more often than not, you find them on sale digitally a lot more often than you will a physical version. But when I can buy physical, I try my best to buy physical. And I will just mention, I did not buy it, but I was so close. I was so on the fence, but I said not yet. And that was Final Fantasy Rebirth. I wanted it. I looked at it for like 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, should I just buy it? And, you know, for $50, I'm like, yeah, it's worth that price, but I'm just not in a position to play it right now or anytime really soon. So I decided I might as well just wait, see if it's cheaper on Boxing Day, and yeah, just not in a rush to get to that one. So I didn't buy it, but God of War I would really like to play sooner rather than later. We'll see if I can squeeze it in for the ending of this year. If not, it'll be early next year I get into Ragnarok finally, but cannot freaking wait to finally play that game. So that's sweet. Let me know which games y'all picked up for your Black Friday. Let me know how you did. And let's talk about some movies. Watched a couple movies this week. Had to watch Deadpool and Wolverine. That was the big one. That was a huge movie this year, and I waited patiently for it to drop on Disney. It finally did, and I watched it, and it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I liked the first Deadpool more just because it was so just kind of out of left field. It caught me off guard, really didn't know what I was expecting. Deadpool 2 was good, a little bit forgettable, and then this one was just very funny. I know some people didn't love it, but I enjoyed it, and everybody that I've talked to, almost everyone at my work has watched it. It's just a very popular movie, and everyone I've talked to has very much so enjoyed it. I had lots of laughs, watched it with my wife. I am not the most hardcore Marvel person. I watch the movies. I don't watch all of them. I pick and choose which ones I'm like, that looks really good. I'll check that one out. That seems more my style and stuff like that. I don't watch them all. I don't know all the lore. I don't watch all the TV shows. There's a guy at work who is very into all that, and he was picking apart all the little details of the movie, letting me know this and that, like little hidden secrets in the movies. Like apparently they hid like comic book covers in like very hard to find places in the movie. I'm like, dude, that's fucking crazy. But the movie was very enjoyable, very funny. Love the fight scene in the fucking Honda. Oh man, this Honda fucks. Great scene. Love that fight scene. Loved Wolverine. Hugh Jackman returning as Wolverine. That was sensational. Lots of good cameos. I don't want to spoil them, but man, there was a dude in there from Midnight Suns. He's in that. I guess I spoiled it a little bit. He is in that game. And man, I would love a Marvel Midnight Suns movie if that's a possibility. Again, I don't know, like, I say things and then guy at work's like, oh no, that wouldn't work with the timeline. I'm like, oh fuck, well, fuck the timeline. Like, the multiverse shit getting way too confusing for me. I just turned that shit off and I just turned my brain off and enjoyed the movie. I thought it was funny. Good action, good comedy, good pool or whatever. That guy, hilarious. The dog, loved it. Cameos, great. Tons and tons of fourth wall breaking. That's kind of the theme, kind of the thing that goes with Deadpool movies. I enjoyed it. Some people thought it was a little much. I liked it. I really liked the movie. I hit it with a 7.5 out of 10. Really enjoyed. The only thing I didn't like about it is the tropey Marvel shit, being heroes and stuff like that. Very copy and paste formula. Outside of that, though, really enjoyed Deadpool. So check that one out if you haven't already. And the other movie I watched was on Shudder. My wife and I watched Mayhem. Slightly older. I think it's from 2018. Very interesting movie to watch now, after COVID, because this is kind of like, this is before COVID. Like, we didn't know COVID existed yet or anything, and this movie is like, oh, there's this pandemic, and, it was kind of touching on some funny pandemic stuff that, is kind of funny to look back on now. Regardless, it's got fucking Glenn from Walking Dead in there. He's in that movie. He was good. It's an interesting movie. So the concept is there's a fucking virus that gets spread in this building, so it gets quarantined, and the virus basically just makes you an asshole, a very aggressive asshole, just brings out the worst in you and makes you want to fight with people and violence and stuff like that. So, the concept is so good. I wish they went a little bit further with it. I feel like it was kind of tame. There was a couple of laughs. There were a couple of good moments, but I don't know. I felt like they could have gone a lot more zany, a lot more over the top with this movie. I thought that's where it was going. That's how the trailers kind of led me to believe it was going to be this really over-the-top movie. And early on, I think the first kill was very, very bloody. A lot blood all over the place. I was like, yeah, okay, we're going to get kind of this over-the-top, gory, bloody movie. And then, it just didn't really go there. It kind of peaked early and just, it was fine. I can't say it was bad. It definitely wasn't bad. It had moments. I wish I knew the girl's name, but I liked her the best in the movie. She was great. At the end, she has the sunglasses on and everything. Pretty cool. I can't highly recommend this movie. It's, I don't know. It was fine. I'd hit it with a solid 6 out of 10. Definitely will forget about it in a couple of days, and I'll never think about the movie ever again, more than likely. But hey, it was a solid, easy Friday night watch. Hour and a half long movie, not very long. It was solid. And then I started watching some stuff. I started watching Arcane, the League of Legends show on Netflix. And Only 3 episodes in? Damn. Whoa, this show is something. Oh yeah, I've seen the review. It's been on my list for a while, just waiting for it to finish off. It's finished now. Sadly, it's only getting 2 seasons, which is a Netflix problem. I mean, won't really dive too deep into that, but that's a Netflix problem right now. No matter how good the show is, they just don't seem to keep them going. Regardless, what I've seen of Arcane so far, beautifully animated. The story has really drawn me in. I know nothing of League of Legends. I have not a singular clue. I don't even really know what League of Legends is outside of some online multiplayer game. Not my lane. I have no idea what's going on over there with that. But this show, oh baby, oh yeah. And it keeps leaving me. I just want to watch the next episode. So yeah, who knows how far I'll get with Arcane. By the next time, I'm definitely going to finish it. The show has definitely caught my attention, it's drawn me right in, really liking it, and yeah, can't wait to watch more. So let me know if you checked out that show, and if not, you should probably check it out. It's pretty fucking awesome. And I've also been hearing things about this Dan to Dan show. I have it on my list, so I will be checking it out. It was recommended to me by a friend, and yeah, so it's on my list, but I'm hearing really good things about it, so I'll check it out at some point. And my wife and I have returned to Survivor, baby. Oh, it's time. I was so excited last night. My wife was like, do you want to watch? And there was a long pause, and I looked at her. I was like, oh, is she going to say it? She's like, you want to watch Survivor? I was like, oh, yes. Because, like, we've watched all the available seasons that we have on Paramount, and now we're just waiting for 47 to finish. It's been done for a while, and I was just waiting for her itch to get there. My itch is always there for Survivor. I can always watch Survivor. And we started watching it, and we plowed through some episodes the other day. Probably, like, I'd say we're probably over halfway through already. We crushed, like, 5 episodes or something. And yeah, dude, it's Survivor. It's got a really interesting character in Rome. He's just this little guy that just thinks he is the best at everything in the world, and he just loves to let everybody know about it. So he's definitely by far the most interesting character on the show so far. Love him or hate him. Another dude, what was his name? Doesn't really matter, but he had like I thought for sure, like almost every season on episode 1, I'm like, oh, this guy's not making it. And almost as worse than ever. I was like, oh, this dude is not making it. He is making like a huge scene. He's like, oh, people didn't cheer for me when I cut open a coconut, but they cheered for him. And I'm like, oh my God, like what is this crap? And he's still there. He is still going. I can't believe it. He's really turned a new leaf, which I tend to get caught by those people in Survivor every time. Like they start off horribly, and I'm like, oh, dude, you're toast. You're done. And then they just keep going, and then they make it to the final 3, and you're like, what the fuck? How did you do it? Regardless, it's Survivor. I'm really liking it so far. So I think, wait. Yeah, that's everything I've been watching in terms of video games. Still playing this War of Mine. Just started up yet another playthrough, another scenario, and this one's interesting because I'm all by myself, and that's hard. So I'm getting robbed like every night. It's really difficult, and I'm struggling, but we'll see how far I can make it. I just started it, so I'm only about like a week or so into my survival-ism, and hopefully someone knocks on my door soon and wants to live with me, because I could really use the help. So I'm still playing this War of Mine, and I finished off Pokemon Snap. That'll be next week's episode. I managed to get Mass Effect done in time, so I will do Mass Effect first, and then we'll do Pokemon Snap next week. But oh my goodness, did it ever? I was hunting for Pokemon Snap on the Switch out there to see if it was on sale anywhere. I want it. I want more Pokemon picture-taking game, please. I want more of it. My sister kind of planted that seed into me. She was talking about it when she was down visiting this summer, talking about the Switch one, how much she's playing in, like, oh. So I played the old one, and like, yeah, it scratched the itch, but I'm still itchy, baby. I'm still itchy. I want some more. But man, what an awesome time Pokemon Snap was. Can't wait to talk about that one next week. I had a lot more fun with it than I was expecting. Like, I honestly had as much fun with it as I did as a kid. It was like awesome. So we'll be talking about that one next week. And I think it's time. Let's talk about one of my all-time favorite games of all time, Mass Effect 2. Are you ready, Shepard? Are you ready to get out there and kick some collector ass? Yes, I am. I am most certainly ready for this. Mass Effect 2, holy crap. I've been playing this game since it came out, and still to this date, I am experiencing new things with this game still, because the genius of the story and your decisions carrying through the entire trilogy of games is still giving me new experiences that I'm just like, dude, this is fucking awesome. And still had an abundance of new experiences in my time in Mass Effect 2 on my 5th or possibly 6th playthrough of this game. I shit you not. I love this freaking game. This is one of my comfort food games. Whenever I'm like, oh, what should I do with myself? I always think about Mass Effect 2 and like, man, this game absolutely blew my dick off back in 2010 when it dropped. And the first Mass Effect was good. It was a very good game, but there was problems with it. It was a very kind of, messy game a little bit. The controls weren't very good. The graphics were pretty good at the time, and yeah, it was very similar to like a Uncharted 1. You're like, oh, this is really good. Let's see what the next one can do. And oh my goodness, just like Uncharted 2, Mass Effect 2 just destroyed its predecessor. Like the first Mass Effect compared to Mass Effect 2, what a freaking jump, man. Like all across the board, everything is better. You get just better looking gameplay, better characters, more types of classes to play as. Everything is bigger and badder than the first game. And oh baby, I just love the whole entire theme of this game, the suicide mission. In the first game, we are kind of just figuring things out. It's almost like a little thing is brewing. You're like, what the hell is going on? We're trying to figure this out, and then things get much, much bigger once we figure out what the hell is going on. This Geth is coming back, trying to take over the galaxy, and now in this game, they're using the Collectors, this other ancient fucking alien species coming back out of nowhere. They're using them as a way to help take over the planet, and here we are again reprising our role as Commander Shepard, and we're here to stop that from happening. So people are going missing, whole colonies and planets are going missing. All the people are just gone, and we're trying to figure out what it is. It's the Collectors, god damn it. But what's behind the Collectors? The fucking Geth again. So it's the Geth, it's the Protheans, or whatever the fuck they are. I'm not an expert at the story. I should be. I'll be really good at the story compared to how I am with stories in video games in general. I will know a lot more about this one than most. But, I'm no professional here, so if I get shit wrong, It's okay. I mainly want to focus on the characters of this game, the suicide mission, and all that stuff. If you want more of a review and stuff like that, go back and listen to the Mass Effect 1, and I talk more in depth in a review style on that game. But this one, I just kind of want to just talk about the great times, the memories, the characters, and how awesome this game freaking is, and still is. It's still amazing, and I played this on the Legendary Collection version or whatever, which is a great package, yeah. But it's seriously a fantastic trilogy of games, one of the best trilogies of all time. I know the third game, the ending made people very upset. They fixed it. It's fine. Don't let that ruin the legacy of these games. They're incredible from front to back. All three of these games are excellent. It's just the second one is my personal favorite because of the theme of it. It's the suicide mission. It's let's rally, let's find the best fucking soldiers and biotics and engineers in the world, in the universe, bring them all together and make them work together and take down this fucking threat that could end the world. We're gonna save the galaxy, y'all. But first, we gotta get a team. And so you start the game out, very cool. I like the way that they do it because it's an RPG. You create a character, you can create your Shepard, you can go with the standard Shepard, or if you're in the position like me, you've played this a few times, you can bring your character from Mass Effect 1, all their decisions, everything that you did, carry it over to the next game, and you continue on your story. Or it'll just have a story for it. You don't have to play the first game. You can get into this one, and rather you pick the story, or it'll set a story for you, and you can just continue on and make your choices from there. But my choices carried over from Mass Effect 1, and I did some shit that I have never done before. I have never let Caden live before. This is the first time I've ever let him live, and to see what he's going to do in Mass Effect 2, I will just say right now, immensely disappointing. We'll get there. And I got Rex. He lived from the first Mass Effect. I never had that happen before, so he's here in the second game. So I'm still having new experiences, and you have a light and dark system where you can be a good person or a bad person. And definitely stick to one lane. Don't stay in the middle and pick good and bad. Stay to one. Rather be a really good person, because the more good you are, the bigger opportunities. There will be times where big decisions need to be made, and if you are all the way good or all the way bad, you can use a special, option to really do something very cool. So highly recommend that if you're going to play these, be all the way bad or all the way good. This time for me personally, I went all the way bad. I was as bad to the bone as you can get. Bad Lady Shepherd. I was a bad woman, baby. So that was great. Brought my character right over. She looks exactly the same, acts the same. The only thing now is that you kind of get exploded in a mission at the beginning of the game and you die. You're dead. But it's okay. They find you, sort of, and they build you back together. It takes them a couple of years, but you get built back up. You're fucking mostly robot or whatever now, but it doesn't matter. You look pretty much the same. You might have a little, you might have some robotics in you now, but it's all good. You're back. You're back as Shepard. You can customize yourself again. Just kind of a unique way to get through that. Instead of just being oh, I don't know. Some games don't come up with anything creative. They're just oh, here's a surgeon if you want to change your face. There you go. And this one's oh, you died and we had to rebuild you. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So there's that. So the original ship that you're on, the Normandy, it gets destroyed as well. Everything gets replaced. You get rebuilt, but by who? You get rebuilt by this corporation called Cerberus. And they have a very dark past, a very dark history, not a very liked corporation, but here they are, brought you back to life, and they're going to support you on this suicide mission. They're going to try and give you as many resources as they can, and intel and all this stuff. It's just, we got to work with this really, really shady character called the Elusive Man. And I think he's voice acted by one of the Sheen brothers, Martin Sheen, not Charlie, the other one, I think. And yeah, he's fine. Again, just kind of an early days where you're oh shit, I know that guy. That's an actor. He's in movies. You didn't get that often in video games. Now it's a lot more common. We had Idris Elba in it, fucking John Wick, him, that guy. He's been people do video game voice acting now. Back then in 2010, this was oh shit, that's crazy. Very rare. And I don't think that Mr. Sheen would say it's his greatest performance in his entire career, but pretty good for video game standards. So you're working with this guy, you're working with a shady group of people, but you got a mission and you guys are on the same page as that. We got to stop the collectors, we got to stop the Geth, we got to stop this shit from happening. So that's our mission. Pretty cool, right? So all you got to do now is go and find this team. And this team, it's just a group of mercenaries, scientists, and you just got to go around the universe, picking them up, convincing them to fight on your team. But it doesn't really stop there. Once you get them all on your ship and you're working together, you talk with them. That's the great thing about Mass Effect. Mass Effect is, there's a lot of choices to be made, and your choices hold weight. The things that you do in this game hold a lot of weight and will determine if you make it or not at the end of this game. Simple things I don't know, just saying the right things at the right times. But the main thing you got to make sure you got to do to get through the suicide mission, you got to make sure you're doing all of the loyalty missions for each and every character in the game. So every person that you recruit, they will eventually open up a little bit. You can learn something about them. Then they're going to ask you for help with something. And then if you go help them with that, they will be fully loyal to you. They won't have anything blocking their mind when they go to the suicide mission, and everything should be fine. But there are some tricks and little traps that happen throughout the game that could jeopardize the mission, and you gotta navigate those waters. So you gotta get your relationship with your crew and your team up to par, and you gotta be going out and looking for resources and upgrades for your ship. Because the first time we met the collectors, they fucking killed you, and they blew up our ship like it was nothing. We did absolutely nothing to them. So they're much more powerful than us. So you got to go around the universe as well looking for resources. You got to go around looking for upgrades for our ship. And that means scanning planets, talking to people, figuring out, oh shit, I heard about this rumor, go check it out. Bam, we got this new fucking awesome piece of equipment, or we've heard about this rumor, or we got upgrades for our weapons, or something like that. So it's basically just a preparation. The whole game is preparation for this big bad mission. And I just love that theme, man. I just love it. Love going around. All right, we got to go. So maybe we should be talking about the characters now. We can kind of start getting into each and every character and how much fun this is going to be. Oh boy, here we go. So I have a lot to say about pretty much all of these motherfuckers. So let's just go through them in I think order. I think I have them in order of how I met them, but I'm saving the DLC people for last. So we'll do it that way. All right, let's get into it. So we start off with Miranda. Miranda's solid, man. She's kind of like the Captain Williams or whatever her name is. She's just a super soldier, man, and she's super hot. And, you know, for video game standards, she's got that sexy Australian-y accent, but she has legitimately been created to be perfect. Like, her dad is rich, and he put all this money to get her the best biotics, the best training, and even paid to have her look good. So even that affects people. Like, damn, I don't want to shoot a hot lady, or like, oh, I can't threaten a hot lady. She's too hot. So, like, Miranda's pretty cool. She's a little bit standard. She's not my favorite, but I like her. Like, you have good, normal conversations with her. Like, her thing is, so her loyalty mission is you have to track down her sister. Her sister doesn't really know much about Miranda. Miranda's kind of, she doesn't have a good relationship with her father. Obviously, like, he kind of forced her into all this biotic stuff. Anyway, she's trying to protect her sister from him, so we have to help her with that. And throughout that, you learn, like, yeah, she's a good, caring person. She just wants the best life for her sister and doesn't want, you know, any of the bad stuff that happened to Miranda or all that pressure that she has to face as a person. Being genetically better than everybody means there's higher expectations for her. So she has a lot of pressure. She has a lot of shit on her plate. And yeah, I like her. In this particular run, being a bad person, I didn't let Miranda, well, I mean, it wasn't that I didn't let her. She didn't go talk to her sister, nor like in my normal playthrough. I'd go talk to her, and she goes talking to her sister, and they rebuild the relationship, and everything's good. I pounded Miranda. We got it on. Of course I did. Not in this playthrough, because that's another thing I've experienced new. I was a female this time around, so I was having relationships with male aliens and shit like that. But prior, all my other playthroughs, I was a male, so I had relations with all the females up in Mass Effect, y'all. Including Miranda. She's a human, by the way. I think I should mention that. She's a human. Standard. She's fine. I like Miranda. She's good. She's useful in the battlefield. She's got good moves. She uses the overload, which fucks up shields. Yeah, she's a useful, all-around good character. I like Miranda a lot. Then you have Jacob. Jacob is very, very mid. He's very much your copy and paste military. Yes, sir. How you do? Yeah, huh, hoorah, and all that. I fucking hate those characters. It's one of the most overused characters in all media. Just the standard soldier guy and all that stuff. He's okay. Like, he's very chill. Like, me and him had a very just good relationship. Like, yeah, we're just here to take out the collectors. And to the point of relationship was I couldn't even talk to him anymore. All he would be like is like, I'm all good, Shepard. And we would just like bro hug and shit. And I was like, all right, cool, man. Like, you do your thing. He's a good soldier, but not that interesting. His loyalty mission's solid. We get to go track down his insane dad, who is like doing a Lord of the Flies thing on this fucking remote island somewhere. His ship crashed and he's fucking cannibalizing his own people, and it's a fucking mess. But I let Jacob kill his dad. So, also, spoilers ahead, by the way. It's an older game, and I can't not talk about spoilers with this one. I just have to. I couldn't do this episode without talking about everything about this game. So I will be spoiling shit. But I let Jacob kill his dad. Normally, I think you would just leave him there with his horrible decisions that he's made. And his dad's a total scumbag. Like, he denies everything. He thinks everything that he did was good. He's a total piece of shit. But, yeah, that's probably the only real good thing about Jacob is his little side story there. Outside of that, Doesn't open up very much. He's fine on the battlefield. He's a soldier. He's okay. And then we got the homie. The all-time, baby. It's Garrus. Love Garrus. Garrus is from the first game. Probably my favorite dude from the first game, and still one of my favorites through this game. I love Garrus. Loved him so much. I had sex with him on this particular playthrough, and I was like, it has to be Garrus. I almost fucked Thane. I almost fucked him, but I was like, nah. It has to be Garrus, the homie, right? And Garrus, dude, the first time I played this game and the Archangel, you have to go hunt down the Archangel. You're like, who is this guy? We need him on our team. So you go out there, you're looking for this dude. And he is like hunkered down in this building. He's killing everybody. No one can get to him. So they send us in there to go after him. We get in there finally, and turns out it's fucking Garrus. You're like, oh my god, dude, what the fuck are you doing here? I was just over the moon the first time that happened. I was like, I had no idea. I was like, holy shit, it's fucking Garrus. So I lost it. Garrus is the homie, man. He is a Turian alien, I believe. I love all the alien designs in Mass Effect. They're very, very cool. And the Turians are one of the cooler ones. I really can't describe them. You'll just have to look them up or take my word on it that they're really cool. But they're really fucking cool. And they're badass. And they're just... Garrus is so cool, man. He's so cool. I like him so much. And, he gets roughed up pretty good in this game. He gets shot in the face. But he lives. He's okay. He's just got this nasty battle scar for the whole entire game. And I will admit, like, Garrus is a little dry in this game. Like, most of the conversations with him are just like, they're okay. They're fine. You go and track down... Fuck, what the hell do we even do with Garrus? I think you go track down some dude and take him out. I literally just played it this week, and I can't honestly remember what the fuck it was. But anything with Garrus is awesome. Garrus is the homie, and I'm happy I was so funny when I brought up maybe we should have a little sex or release some of this tension. And then he was like, okay, yeah, I'll think about it. That's interesting. He's like, yeah, I'll think about that. Come on back. I came on back, and he was like, hold on. Is this crazy? Should we be having interspecies sexual intercourse? I'm like, Garrus, absolutely yes. We went at it, bro. We wrestled, and it was fucked up. So that was cool. And he comes over to my room, and he puts on some we're having wine. It's crazy. It was a good time, me and Garrus that night. I like Garrus. And you got Tali. Miss Tali Zora, or don't think that's her name anymore, but Tali, she is also from the first Mass Effect. She's good. She's Azora or something. I don't remember what they're called, but they're very unique. What the coolest thing you could do with Tali is if you actually do romanticize her and go down that route. It's a very interesting route because their species basically lives in like a bubble suit. They have to be within a suit because they're super susceptible to disease and stuff like that. So if they're outside of their suit for too long, they will get very, very sick and die. They can't touch people. But the most, the closest thing, the most interactive thing you can do with another one of their people is like attach your suits together, and like your environments are linked. That's like basically hardcore sex for their species, and you can actually do that with her if you romanticize her. And I did that, and it was really cool. It was kind of it was a very, very touching situation, because for their species, that's a very, very big deal to allow anyone to like actually have physical contact with them. So that one was really cool. She's a very powerful tech. She's really good at hacking. Now, I don't really like her on the squad because she's kind of hard to use. She can like hack Geth. So if there's a big asshole Geth that you're fighting with, you can straight up hack that sumbitch and he'll fight for you. That's useful. It's just a little bit difficult to use. At least on, I don't know, I just play on normal. I play as a Vanguard. Vanguard is my favorite type to play with. It's the new one in Mass Effect 2. I don't remember what the other ones... There's another one that was new, but I knew I was a Vanguard the second I saw it. I remember the previews for this game. They were showing it off, and the Vanguard is just the most fun, bro. Like, you get this, like, attack that it will just... You fucking, like, spear into whatever opponent, and it'll launch you across the room to get to them, so you can just fly up to them, hit them with a shotgun, and it's just a super fast-paced, super aggressive class to play as, and it's by far my favorite. I've tried them all. I always end up coming back to the Vanguard because nothing is as fun as playing as the Vanguard. I've played as the Tech, the Biotic, I've done them all. The Tech is probably my least favorite one because it's a situational type of thing. Like, if there's no Geth, I can't hack and control them, so you're not always fighting Geth, so that ends up being useless. She has a combat drone that you can send it out, and it'll go, like, attack and distract enemies, and it'll blow up when you level it up to a certain level, and it's pretty good, but I definitely use her the least on my team, I would say. But she's cool. She's aight. I like her. Her side mission, her loyalty mission's pretty good. You have to go to her home planet because she's being exiled by her own people. And it was a fun one for me because I was like full renegade. I was bad to the bone. And I went in there and just told everybody, shut the fuck up. Like, Tally, she did all this shit for you. You guys should respect her. And they're just like, yeah, you know what? You're right. And I didn't have to go through a bunch of bullshit that I normally would have to. So that was a lot of fun. Just, you know, backing up Tally, making sure she's all good with her people. So that one was good. Who do we have next? We got Morden. Oh, yeah. I believe he was in the first game as well. I might be wrong, but he's pretty good, man. I like him. He is a very, very rambly scientist. He's like, oh, colors, like, nice. Oh, yeah, no, this, that, this. So he's very all over the map, very intelligent and witty. He is quite funny. There's a conversation you have with him where he's like, oh, you know, I get hit on by all these different aliens. All these different species are attracted to me. Don't get any ideas, Shepard. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, ew, I'm not interested in you, but he is great. I like him a lot. He's a scientist, so his combat isn't the greatest. He does have some good moves, though. He can, like, flash freeze a bitch. He can fry a bitch with fire and lightning. So he's got some pretty good attacks. He just doesn't have any shields. So he's pretty weak. He can go down pretty easily, but I like him. Morden was good. He did die in the suicide mission initially. I got him through it eventually, but we'll get there when we get there. But Morden's cool, man. I like him. I like how fast he talks. He's all over the place, but he's also kind of a badass. Like, his side mission, he is responsible for creating the genophage. And the genophage is a disease that they placed on the Krogans, their whole entire species, to prevent them from breeding. Because if they breed too much, their species is massive and they could easily take over the planet and dominate the world. So the Solarians, they made the genophage to slow them down and prevent them from breeding too fastly. So Dr. Morton, he created that, and he wants to try and right that wrong, or he worked on it and he wants to prevent any more work or stop it or even cure the genophage, stuff like that. So you go out there, and his protege, his old scientist buddy, you like kill the fuck out of him. Like, he kills him in cold blood, like, no problem. He's like, you're dead, bang. And he's like, all right, how we doing? We moving on? Let's do the next thing. And he's just badass. So yeah, dude, the doc is cool with me. I like him a lot. All right, then we get Caden, this is my first experience with him in Mass Effect 2, and he can go fuck himself. You want to know why? I met him on a planet. He told me to go fuck myself, and I said, fuck me, fuck you. So Caden fucked off, and he did not interact with me for the rest of the game. I never saw him again, and what a massive waste. I killed Ashley Williams for you, you piece of shit, and he didn't even come with me on my mission. He was just like, no, I don't like you, and he left. And I was like, I can't fucking believe this right now. So Caden, you suck, you're dead to me, and go fuck yourself. I don't like you at all. Then we got Jack. Jack is awesome. Jack, a little bit stereotypical in terms of character now, but back then she was, you know, I'm not going to say she was the first bald-headed female character that's, you know, when playing it today, all I can think of is Stranger Things. This game came out much before Stranger Things, but playing through Jack's parts, it's all Stranger Things to me. It's this girl in a fucking laboratory getting, you know, powered up with all these powers, and just like, she eventually goes rogue and kills everybody in the fucking laboratory, but as a kid anyway, and she grows up in there all throughout, and you have to go get her, and all you gotta do is go to the prison and grab her. We go and do that, and then she wants to go back. She's like, I want to go back, and I want to blow that bitch up. I'm like, let's fucking do that. Oh yeah, so we went back, we blew up the fucking facility that she had to grow up in, and it was great. Jack is, you know, a very what do you call, damaged goods. You know, she's very fucked up. She had a fucked up childhood, did a lot of fucked up shit, had a lot of fucked up shit done to her, and she's pretty fucked up. She's, you know, she likes to be alone. I relate to Jack very much. I like my alone time. I don't always like to be around people. I like it in small doses, but I like my alone time a lot more, and Jack's all about that. She's an incredibly powerful biotic, and you don't want to get on her bad side. I've been on Jack's bad side before. She ruined my first couple of playthroughs of Mass Effect 2, where I could not get through the suicide mission because of Jack. Jack ruined the whole thing. So there's a moment between Jack and Miranda, and depending on the timing, I believe it'll always happen. This thing will happen between them at the same point. I don't remember when it happens, but it can happen after you've done both of their loyalty missions, or it can happen after or before, anything. So in this particular part, Miranda and Jack get in a fight with each other, and you have to pick a side. And at that time, I was playing kind of both sides. I was good and bad, and I wasn't good or bad enough to make that decision. So I had to pick a side, and I picked Miranda's side, and Jack got pissed. And I already did her loyalty mission, so she became unloyal to me again, and I had no way to make her loyal to me again. And if they're unloyal, they're gonna die in the suicide mission. So she kept dying, and there was nothing I could do about it. I couldn't go back. I couldn't change my decision, and even if I did, then it would just be Miranda, and then Miranda would die. So that is a crucial part in the game. I got to it this time, same scenario, but I was bad to the bone, so I told them both to shut the fuck up. You're both wrong, and they were both fine with that. As long as you don't pick a side, you're okay. So, yeah, Jack was difficult, but she's a great partner, man. I really like Jack. In most playthroughs, I'm usually a Vanguard, and her and I both share the Shockwave power together, and the Shockwave's great. You just throw a fucking line of chaos in front of you, and it just goes, doot, 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 and it just travels down, and it will fucking destroy anything in its path. And I'll put me and Jack together on a squad of 3, and we both just shooting shockwaves out, and everybody's just fucking going flying. It's great. And she's a good, not like a good person, like she is, there's a good person in there. There's just a lot of damage around that good person, but I really enjoy Jack. I've had the sexual relations with her, and it's very intense. It's like, that really, let's just fucking do this, and then, smashing shit off the table, and you're throwing each other around. It's immense, it's intense, and it's a very, very loving situation. But my God, I'm a big fan of Jack. I think she's awesome. And in this particular playthrough, I had like the DLC or whatever. So she had some alternate outfits, and her outfit was great. She gets some sunglasses on, looks so cool. So Jack is great. Love Jack. Who else do we got? We got Grunt. Oh, Grunt. He's not Rex, but Grunt is a Krogan. And this particular Krogan is different because he was created in a lab. He's a genetic fucking perfect Krogan. He is designed, everything about him is supposed to be perfect. And you go and get him, and he's like a baby. He's been alive for like a week, and he's a little bit confused. But he's a Krogan. Like, he speaks, he wants to kill. You're like, all right, perfect, join our team. And that's like, first time you play it, you don't know what the fuck to do with this thing. Like, I did not know if I should open the tank, because you bring this thing, and he's just in the tank, and you have the decision. Do you want to open the tank and release it, or just leave him there? And it's risky. Like, if you open up this we don't know what he's going to do. He can kill us all. He could do something. So you open it finally, and he attacks you, but you can calm him down, and then eventually you're fine. And then he'll ask you, he's like, oh, I feel weird. I feel pent up. And then you go take him to the Krogan homeland, where, oh my God, the coolest fucking thing happened. So Rex made it through this game to Mass Effect 2 for me for the first time. I've always had to kill Rex. It's just always had to go down that way. This time he's alive, and he's the fucking leader at Tachanka. He is the leader of a clan of Krogan, and dude, I lost it. I was like, holy shit, it's fucking Rex, and he's just like, Shepard, and oh man, it was awesome. And normally, they got some fucking prick that's in charge. He's like, get the fuck out of here. He's such a dick. And now that Rex is here, he's like, oh, Shepard, I got you, homie. Like, he takes care of us. It's awesome. So you go there, and Rex says, oh, he's, sure, he's a Krogan, fine. Like, yeah, he's lab born, but we'll put him through the trials, and we'll see how he does. So you do the trials, which is basically just killing a bunch of shit. You kill a bunch of shit, You pass, you win, boom. The Krogan is all good. Grunt is good. And Grunt is good. He is no Rex, though. He is not as cool as Rex. He's not as badass as Rex. He doesn't really have a lot, right? He's just kind of figuring things out. But you do have some interesting conversations with him, some funny ones as well. I had one where I forget how, I don't know, he makes jokes and he's good. I like Grunt. He is awesome. He's a stud to have in the battlefield. He is fucking damn near impenetrable and he's got a lot of damage, so he's great to have. Oh, buddy. The coolest new guy, I would say the coolest guy is Thane, the master assassin. And this guy is a Drell, is what they're called, is like this green kind of salamandery looking thing. But dude, this guy's so cool. He is this master assassin and his eyes are like these massive just black voids. They look so just, oh, he's so cool. And he has a really cool voice. There's no way I could replicate it because it's some sort of amphibian type thing. But he is awesome, man. This guy's a master at killing people without anyone seeing him. He's off into the shadows. He's very cool. And you can also put sunglasses on him, which of course I did. So he was rocking sunglasses throughout the whole game. And his side mission is, it's okay. Like, you got to track down, you're looking for his kid. His kid is trying to become an assassin like his dad. And his dad's like, no, I don't want that for him. So we got to track down these people. That part kind of sucks. I remember failing it a bunch of times back in the day, but you just track down this dude, you find his kid, and then you decide if his kid is or isn't going to kill his hostage. I end up killing the hostage for him because I'm like, fuck it. Boom, now what are you going to do, kid? And the kid is just like, oh, damn it. So we take him, and apparently things get better with him. His dad talks to him, and all is well. But Thane, he has like perfect memory. He can recall all of the people that he's killed in perfect detail, and he talks about it. There's like a particular memory that he keeps going over with you, and you get a little bit more of the story each time you talk with him. He's just really cool, man. I love his design. I love his aura, his style. He's just so badass. And maybe next time I play it, I will have sexual relations with him. And speaking of sexual relations, we got Samara, the Asari Judicar, whatever she is, the very sexualized alien species of this game. They're all very, very pretty and stuff like that. And this Asari, in particular, Samara, really likes to show off her cleavage. She's just out there, bro. It's insane. It's a crazy amount of cleavage, but she's doing it. And she's a very old soul. She's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. Keeping the law. She's a Judicar or Justicar, which has these like laws, very intense laws, and you don't want to fuck with her. She's a very dangerous biotic and all this shit. So you go and find her. She's in the middle of a crime scene. She's trying to figure something out. So you help her with that. But I love her loyalty mission. It's probably my favorite one in the whole game. And with her, you got to track down her daughter. And her daughter is a succubus. She is just out there in the nightclubs, fucking hunting for people, bringing them back to her lair, having sex with them, and then killing them, and so on and so forth. So she's out there being a succubus, and we got to stop it. So eventually, what you got to do is you got to go to the bar, go out to the club, and just, make yourself noticeable. So I was going around starting fights with people. I was just being a nuisance. And eventually she'll come find you. You have a conversation with her. You do your best to, show off your stuff. You have a good conversation, good enough. You go back to her apartment, and then shit gets real. Her mom comes in. They have a big, awesome biotic fight. And then you actually get the decision to kill Samara or kill her daughter. So you can I have actually never killed Samara. Even in this one, I still didn't. Even though I was bad to the bone, I was unsure if I killed Samara, if I could make it through the suicide mission. So I just kept Samara alive. I was very tempted to kill her just to see what would happen. I wouldn't want to do that, but I've never seen it happen. So maybe next time I'll do that and see what happens. But very interesting. That is my favorite one. I love that mission. It's just so... It's different enough. Like, I don't know. You're going out there, like, trying to get scouted, and you're trying to get hit on. It was awesome. I love that one so much. So that one was really cool. I always remembered that one. And then we got the DLC people. So it comes with the 2 DLCs. I did them both, and I got the characters with me. The only thing that sucks the most about the characters is that you can't have conversations with them. with everybody on your ship, you can go up to them and you'll have conversations like with the dialogue wheel and everything. You can ask them stuff. You can investigate parts of them, not body parts, but it's like, oh, like where'd you come from? Or you can go deeper. But with these two characters, all you can do is like go into their room and like interact with some of their stuff, and they'll talk about the stuff. But I can't have like up-to-date conversations with them, which fucking sucks. I wish they had that. So that is a downfall, but they do have two new characters. One is Zaid. He's okay. He's like a badass mercenary dude. He's got a, accent, so, he's cool. He's strong. He has a decent loyalty mission. It's, standard. We're going down to track down some guy that he doesn't like, and we find him, and he fucking burns him alive. I was like, fuck yeah, Zaid. All right, let's join my team. Let's get out of here. So he's fine. He's pretty standard. Then you have Kasumi. Kasumi's cool. She's a master thief, and her loyalty mission, the first time I did it, I loved it. Now I'm like, okay, now that I've done it, it's a little bit like, so you have to do a heist with her, and a heist it's fine. It's just like, now that I know what it is, it's just kind of like grunt work, and all I'm doing is like running around this party. I know where I need to go. I got to get this key card, or I got to get this voice print and bring it over here, open up the thing, steal the thing, get the hell out of there without being seen. Pretty standard heist stuff, but for Mass Effect, it's a nice change of pace at that time. So that one was pretty cool. I like Kasumi. Like she's cool looking. Like she's a human as well. So is Zaid. They're both humans. She's just kind of got a cloak on. She looks really cool. She kind of has an accent as well. I don't know much about them because they don't really open up that way. So yeah, they're fine. They're cool new characters. They don't do a lot that they don't take away from anything, So they're there. They're cool. But there's also the DLC. There's like DLC missions, and I did both of those. So in the Shadow Broker one, you actually get to meet back up with Liara Tassoni. She's from Mass Effect 1. She is in Mass Effect 2. But she's just like a fucking, I don't even know what she's like, a stockbroker or something. You go talk to her and get information. But in this one, in the Shadow Broker DLC, she'll actually be a part of your team and you can use her again. It's really cool. And I like the Shadow Broker DLC. It's good. You go onto this ship. It's really cool and badass. You're on top of it fighting. There's like a big lightning storm. It's like in a lightning storm. There's fucking lightning all over the place. It's cool. You're battling your way into the lair. And then you get in there, you meet the Shadow Broker. He's this giant, Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. He looks like a really big version of Stitch. Like he's got a whole bunch of eyes. He would be really cute if he was small, but he's ginormous, so he's kind of terrifying. But you fight him, and then Liara becomes the Shadow Broker, and she can give you like intel, which is really useful. So when you're collecting resources, something that I imagine people don't like very much, but you have to like scan planets. And I oddly like doing it because, I don't know, it's just kind of relaxing and very, very satisfying. You go out and you can go into all these fucking solar systems, and inside each solar system there's planets and things to do, and you can go to each planet and it'll tell you about the planet, and you can scan the planet for resources, and you shoot your little drone into it, and you're collecting resources. And it's grindy. It's definitely grindy. You got to do it because you got to have those resources for upgrades. So what she will do, the Shadow Broker, she will let you know, like, oh, what particular resource do you need? Okay, you need this one. That planet is rich in it, so go to that planet and off you go. And really, only Element 0 is the only one that I ever have trouble finding. So boom, she'll locate you a Element 0 planet, off you go, and you're good to go. I had no problems with upgrades in this game. I probably scanned a lot more planets than I needed to, so you don't really have to do that much of it, but I oddly like it. I don't know, it's definitely nostalgic for me. Yeah, Shadow Broker was good, and then the other one, I think it's called Project Overlord. It was okay, a little less actiony, a little bit more like a little trippy, a little strange, kind of more story-driven, but it was fine. It had like a decent fight at the end. It was fine, not my favorite, but I did it, and yeah, now we got the suicide mission. Oh, buddy, this fucking mission. Oh, it took me quite a while to get this successfully back in the day. Like I said, I fucked up my first playthrough. I screwed up with Jack, and I had to go through it again. And I had to figure out what I did wrong. I figured that out, and then eventually I got through the suicide mission. So the mission is available pretty early in the game. Like it gives you, it's like, yeah, you can go now if you want to, even though we're not prepared. you can go in quite early. I don't even know if you have to recruit everybody before it's available. But it's there, man, and you can do it way before you have everything if you want to. But you're going to lose a lot of people. You may not even make it, period. If I'm not even sure. I can't even say if I've launched the mission before I should and see, like, what's the minimum you need to get through the mission. I don't think I can answer that. I don't know. I just go in fucking fully loaded with all my loyalty maxed out. But I will even say, even if you have your loyalty maxed out with everybody, people can still die. I had that problem this playthrough. I will explain that. So the suicide mission, when you're ready to do it, you go into the Omega 4 relay, which is they have these, like, they're basically teleportation devices. They launch you across the universe faster so you can get to other systems. But there's this particular one, the Omega 4 relay, that will take you into where we're expecting the collector base to be hidden. And they've hidden it in this fucking area that's surrounded by black holes, and everyone that goes in there, no one's ever come back. So hence why it's called the suicide mission. So we go in there, and it's crazy. You get in there, immediately you have to... Evasive maneuvers are at the maximum because there's just all this debris of all these other fucking spaceships that have been in there. There's black holes, and there's an ambush waiting for you once you get in there. So you get through the ambush. Thankfully, I had my Normandy nice and leveled up and powered up, new shields, new boosters, a big new fancy gun, and all that shit. So we're fucking going through doing all this shit. We're good, and then we get to, well, they send out a little... it's funny, the ship comes out that destroys you in the beginning of the game. It comes off of the big collector ship, and it just looks so tiny. But the first time you see it in the beginning of the game, it's massive. So, holy crap. So that thing comes out, you fucking avoid it, you blow it up now this time, and now you're in the collector ship, and shit is real now. So you're kind of going by the seat of your teeth, or whatever the fuck that saying is. You're just kind of going at it as best as you can, because we have no idea what the hell was going to be on the other side of that, if we were even going to make it. So now we're here, now we got a plan. So you have your team available to you, and it'll kind of give you kind of have to break your team up, and this is where the decision making comes in play again. And it's important that you pick the right members. So some of them are really obvious, like, oh, geez, we got to hack into this door. Who should go and do that? Oh, well, take the master hacker over there with Tally. I always put Tally in the vents. You could probably use... Oh, fuck, there's one character I didn't even talk about, because I didn't get him this time around. The Geth. There's a Geth you can go get. I didn't get him this time. I don't even remember how... I think it was because I said something bad or something. I don't know. I think I might have destroyed it. Regardless, you can actually have a Geth member on your team. That's one of the people. He's pretty awesome too. I just didn't get to experience him this playthrough, but there is a Geth that you can go out and activate him. It's kind of similar to Grunt, where you have to make the decisions like, oh, should we turn it on? Should we use this thing? Like, he's the enemy. He's the thing we're fighting, but he might have some damn good information and shit like that. So that's a really cool character as well. You can send him in there. He's awesome for that. Yeah, there's a good amount. You won't send, like, it's like, oh, we need a tech expert. Let's send in Grunt. Grunt's going to get his ass killed. So you don't want to do that. And then another one, you got to have like a secondary squad. And you got to be like, okay, who's going to lead the secondary squad? Well, you're going to want someone who's really good at fighting. So you can do like a Garrus, you can do Miranda, you can do Grunt, like someone that's really good at fighting. So you put one of them in charge and you should be good. Another one, so you're going through the collector base, you're finding your crew. So at one point throughout the game, your ship gets attacked by the collectors, and they take everybody except for your team. They take your whole crew, though, except for Joker, who flies the ship. They take your doctor, they take all the maintenance people, the mechanics, they take everybody. So you're in there, you're finding some of these people, and they're like, they tell you what's going on. You find out that the collectors are collecting people and turning them basically into food matter. They're just turning them into a paste, and they're putting this paste into this ginormous human-like Reaper creature that's supposed to destroy the world. So you're like, well, that shit's gotta stop right here, right now. So you get in there and you gotta find this thing. You're going through, you gotta get another team to get through this, like, really fucked up thing. So you need someone who is a biotic master that can put up a big shield for everybody. So you got some good options here. You can go with Jack, Me personally, I always go with Samara. Always remember her getting through it, no problem. So I always pick Samara. I feel like Jack is a good one. Miranda, she throws herself in there. She's like, I'll do it, but I'm like, I don't trust you, dog. So I don't pick her. Again, you can pick anybody. You can pick Grunt to put up a barrier. I don't think you can. Actually, okay, you can't pick him, but still, you can make the wrong choice and you can die. So you don't want to do that. And then you have one more team you have to put together, and that's basically everybody else. And this is where I fucked up. I put the Doctor, Morden, into that group where he's just supposed to defend. Like, hold the line, defend. He got killed doing that. So I failed the suicide mission the first time because I was like, well, fuck. The great thing is, you can redo the suicide mission, and it really doesn't take that long. If you skip through the cutscene parts, it takes about 10-15 minutes. So there you go. If you fuck up, you can try it again. It's not that big of a deal. I did it, and like I said, it took me about 10 minutes to do it over again, skipping through the cutscenes. And I've done this mission a fuckload of times. I have done it so many freaking times trying to get that trophy, man. All right, so I redid it, didn't put Morden on the hold the line squad. He came with me to fight the final boss. And the final boss is pretty good. Like, it's okay. It's fine. It's definitely more cool. It's this giant robotic person looking creature. It's almost like looks kind of like an Attack on Titan, but mechanical. Very cool. It doesn't have any legs, but it's cool. And you're fighting it off. You're just shooting its eyes, and then you got to shoot the canisters that's holding it, and then it falls down and gets destroyed. And then you get to make the big decision that's going to take me into the third game. Do we destroy this collector base and their ship and all their information and research, or do we plant a different bomb and just kill all the collectors and keep all the research? I kept the research. I kept it, baby. I don't think I've ever done that. I imagine I blew up the ship every time, and then you escape. You got to make your escape. You get the fuck out of there, and then you get the nail-biting sequence where you're like, fuck, did everybody make it? And if you make it, you don't have to watch the cutscene where it pans over to whoever died, and they're just laying there being dead, and collectors are swarming them and stuff like that. Horrible. For me, it was always Jack or Morton. Though one of those two always fucking died for me. I don't know how many times I saw Jack dead on the ground. I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. Why won't you live? And this time, successfully made it through the suicide mission without losing anybody. Very proud of myself. It only took 2 attempts, so that's nice. It took me like, oh god, I don't know how many attempts it took me back in the day. But yeah, it's really not that hard. Like, I mean, especially once you've done it before, it's really not that hard. I remember everything that I had to do, like the back of my hand, because it was just so ingrained into my brain. I remember reading all these guides and how-tos and what to do and where the fuck did I go wrong, like where's my little mistake that I made. And yeah, so that little mistake that I made was that conversation between Jack and Miranda. You can't pick sides. You have to just be really good or really bad. That's the only way to get out of that the right way. So that is how I made it through the suicide mission, and it's just one of my favorite campaigns of all time. I love going through this game. I love doing the loyalty missions. It's so simple, and I felt like I flew through this game. I couldn't believe how fast I got to the suicide mission, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Like, I got everybody's loyal. I got everything that I need, and off I went. It only took me like 23 hours to get through Mass Effect 2 this time around, and that's with the 2 DLCs done. I really didn't leave a lot left. There's like maybe 3 assignments that I didn't finish. Not a big deal. So yeah, you can continue the game from after the mission. You can finish off your shit. You can continue a new game with all your powers, and you just start like a new game plus and keep going. Or you can go off to Mass Effect 3 and continue the story, which I will most certainly be doing. I do still have an itch to play. I'll probably save it for next year. That's like in every November I get back to Mass Effect type of thing. That's just what I like to do. And it's been a while since I've done Mass Effect 3. I played the shit out of that game, and I am absolutely ready for a Mass Effect 3 replay. But Mass Effect 2 was on the docket this year, and oh, what a great time. So I'll just quickly blast through like the graphics, the music and shit, and is this game still worth playing? I mean, yeah, obviously. The graphics are still good. They got an upgrade with the Legendary Collection, so everything looks good, especially the vistas. The backgrounds look sensational. The planets in the background, outer space looks insane. That area on the Shadow Broker where you're fighting in the storm looked amazing. The character models are a little bit stiff, like the mouth movements aren't quite great, and the bodies don't move quite human-like. It's not up to par where we're at nowadays with video games. They're a little bit cardboardy, but I thought still very, very nice looking game. I had no problems there. Slight performance problems. The odd time, a member of mine would just disappear and they would reappear behind me. There are some loading times, not as bad as it used to be back in the day, where you're doing the long elevator rides of loading. It's a lot quicker, but there is loading times. Soundtrack really good, not amazing. It doesn't slap me across the face with how amazing it is, but when I'm listening to it, actively listening to it, I'm like, yeah. No, it's good. It's sci-fi. It fits the theme very nicely, and the voice acting across the board, very, very strong. Everybody's got the only ones that generally get panned are Shepard. Shepard can be a little bit dry, a little bit cardboardy, a little tone deaf, or if you will. But I don't know. Everybody else was great. I love Jack, Garrus. Thane was amazing. Samara was great. The group of characters is one of my favorite of all time. Now, they have been surpassed by other rosters of characters in newer games, which is completely fine. This game is 15 years old now, but this group, the Thane, the Garrus, Shepard, fucking Jack, all y'all, Miranda, fuck you, Caden, you piece of shit, you suck, but everyone else, Grunt, Jack, Rex, yeah. I love these people. I always love coming back, seeing Garrus again, seeing Miranda, seeing Jack. I love this group again. I love these people. They're my homies. I love them. And I always want to make sure they get through my suicide mission with me. So the characters are great. The story is awesome. It's not the craziest story. It's just cool, man. I don't know. It's nothing crazy that hasn't been done before. Some fucking aliens are trying to take over a planet. We're trying to stop them. But it's fun being in control of it. It's fun that your decisions actually matter and will change the landscape of your whole entire trilogy if you change up certain things. Like I said numerous times, I am still having new experiences with this game. And I played through the entire trilogy 3 times now. This is my 4th time. I'm still getting new shit happening, which is awesome. So it's the game that just continues to keep giving. I will keep revisiting it until I stop experiencing new stuff or stop loving the game. I just think it's awesome. The gameplay, it's not the best in the series anymore. Honestly, Andromeda is a ton of fun to play. For a Mass Effect game, the story and everything else sucks, but the gameplay is out of control. Super fun. Mass Effect 2 starting to show its age a little bit with the, that cover shoot fire where you're sticking to the walls and stuff, Gears of War style. That shit ain't awesome anymore. The fact that you can't run, Shepard has the fucking running capacity of 3-pack-a-day smoker. You run for 2 seconds and you're just oh my goodness. So it'd be nice if I could just fucking run. I'm a goddamn Shepard commander. I should be able to run 70 miles without a problem. So that kind of sucks. The loading times are a little bit but I like the classes. The Vanguard is still one of the funnest things. I love playing the Vanguard. It's so run and gun, fast pace. One of the most satisfying things is you get the Cairo ammo, which you can shoot freezy bullets. You'll freeze your enemy, use the Vanguard slam, you fucking slam into them, and they just shatter into to ice. Because it's just so fucking satisfying, man. If you have not played Mass Effect as a Vanguard, do yourself a favor, Vanguard the fuck up and play as a Vanguard. It is by far the funnest one to play for me. I just, even if there's other classes, I'm like, yeah, this is fun. Eventually, I'm just like, but the Vanguard though, there's never been a class more designed for me. Just fast pace, shotgun to the face, just fuck people up. Big risk, big reward. I love it. It's just the Vanguard is the best. The gameplay is still fun for me. The story, the decisions, fuck yeah, I absolutely highly recommend still to play these games. All 3 of them, play through the trilogy, have a blast, have a great story, and make this a yearly playthrough for you. You like it is for me. I love going through Mass Effect all the time. It's my favorite BioWare franchise. Really hoping that BioWare gets back on track with Mass Effect. Like, I liked Andromeda. I liked how it played. The story sucked. The characters suck. And hopefully we can get back to it all being great again. Have a great set of characters, have great gameplay that works, and everything works on day one, and there's no patches 4 years later, and finally the game works. And it's like, okay, so hopefully we'll get a good Mass Effect 4, but at least I still have my trilogy here. I love this trilogy. I don't care what people say about Mass Effect 3. I love that game too, and I will do an episode on it one day, probably a year from now. We'll do it next November, something like that. But hit me with your Mass Effect memories, Mass Effect 2 memories in particular. Let me know what kind of player you are. Were you a Paragon? You a good person, or were you just want to see the world burn? It's I will say it's a lot funner playing as the bad guy, especially in BioWare games. It seems they just make it easier if you're a bad guy. Like, you know, instead of going through all this firefighting, I could just say, hey, fuck you, give me this or I'll shoot you in the face, and then just give me it, and I don't have to do anything. I'm like, oh, fuck, that was easy. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love Mass Effect, always gonna love Mass Effect, and hopefully you love Mass Effect, and tell me all about your Mass Effect memories and all that great stuff. And again, thank you so much, everybody, for listening. You the best. You want to be even more of the best, make sure you're reviewing the podcast, share it around with 1,000 or so of your friends and even your enemies. I don't care. Let your enemies know about it. Let them know what you're up to and listening to this. And I upload all of these episodes to the YouTube channel, GamerGX Videos. Go over there, subscribe to the YouTube channel, drop a comment on one of the episodes. I want a question answered. I'd love to answer a question about video games, wrestling, hockey, anything like that would be great. Drop a comment, send an email and the email address, or you can drop a message on the Twitter. I have a Twitter as well where I try my best to put up announcements and all that great stuff and try to let you know what's going on. And at this point, well, the GamerCast, the next one's going to be Pokemon. I do record these a week in advance, so it's a little hard to figure out where the fuck I'm going to be at this point. I think there will be a WWE pay-per-view incoming or something, so I do a WrestleCast weekly recap on AEW and WWE shows, and when they have a pay-per-view, I do an extra pay-per-view review, so if you like that, stick around for that. And I also have a hockey show where once a week I go through all the major news and what's happenings in the NHL, mainly focused in on the Leafs and the Flames, but not really. I just tend to talk about them every week, but I'll talk about all 32 teams. So whatever's the big news, that's what I'm talking about. And yeah, so there you go, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back again with some GX Bluffgate.